My name is Mathieu Copeland, and so I'm the curator of the exhibition called the Mandala Mental. And so the idea of the exhibition really was to play within what could be a mandala and what could be the idea of a mental mandala, and also, as always, what is an exhibition and what makes an exhibition be. And so what I cared for was to think, well, somehow the mandala is the ephemeral by excellence, and the mental is the mind, the immaterial. And so therefore it was really the conjunction of these two that excited me the most, in as much as I believe that the ephemeral and the immaterial could not be a better definition for what an exhibition is. Because, 2 months ago there was not that show, there was another one, and there's that one, and there'll be another one. It's always an inscription within the museum. It's always an inscription within a given time. I think that exhibition are only just made of time. And so that's what the mental mandala was very much all about. And so that was somehow the conceptual onset for coming up with the exhibition itself. And then afterwards I thought what would really be a beautiful adequation would really be to have a series of paintings and films as one branch of the mandala, and slow inscription of time by the body as another branch, and yet again another one within the catalogue of the exhibition. And so each of them is made by for instance, the slow inscription of time has been realized by Myriam Gourfink, who's a French choreographer, and who for the past 15 years has been trying to seek the movement within.
Okay.
And so that's what she had been working on. And when we started discussing about that show, it was very much all about that. It's how we can have a slow inscription in time of the movement, of the body, of what it would mean as well to break down the idea that a piece would last an hour and a half, 2 hours, 5 hours at the most, and here it lasts 2 months and a half. So what is this slow inscription in time? The second scheme that we wanted to play with was the film that together with Philippe Decrauzat we've been realizing. Philippe is an abstract painter based in Lausanne and Paris, and who has been dealing a lot with this notion of what can be the motion of a painting. And so here you do have an exhibition of black monochromes articulated with an exhibition of projected films and music. And each of them, of course, inscribe their own history as a paratext, a history that actually just comes in and out as the projected films are coming in and out. And then afterwards you do have a fragmentation of each of these paintings that actually takes place, is inscribed within the architecture of the museum, as you can see behind me here, which is the same monochromes as within the exhibition, but fragmented. And what is the only missing element is really the projected film, where it would be.
Okay.
And that occupies about 3 of the terraces. And the third element of that mandala, the third line, so to say, is the idea of what is the catalogue of an exhibition. At best, it furthers the idea of the show. At worst, and which is so often, it becomes the checklist of what is within the show. And so what I wanted here was to think how the actual catalogue could become yet again another part of the show. Or even better, another show in itself. And so that's why I invited the wonderful Mexican writer Luigi Amara to write a text, but the invitation was that to actually write a possible exhibition, which would not be mine, not be the other ones, but very much and yet again another one. And so this was very much what was this desire. And so you see, you have all these different elements that happens, one within the catalogue, one within the films and the monochromes, and the third one within the movements. All of them are very independent in themselves, but under the umbrella of the Mandala Mental, what is brought back together is this notion that actually where this exhibition ultimately happens and takes place is within the minds of the spectator. It's interesting you ask that, because for me really, when you have the slow inscription of a movement in one line, as Myriam Gourfink has been working and will develop over the period of 2.5 months, the only thing that really comes up, is revealed by such an endeavor, is in fact the architecture itself, I believe. Because what you do is you position yourself against this movement of the dancer, and yet again against the actual architecture of the room itself. And the other thing that I was really keen on doing was to believe that I don't think that each piece is inscribed in one given space. For instance, Myriam will not only be using one room, but actually the terrace, the in-between spaces, and the room where the black monochromes are. So that's yet again another understanding. The other one, which is also important for me, is that notion of choreographing exhibitions. And when you think about the choreographed films and how they're projected, actually they divide the time, they divide the space, and they come one after the other in a rhythm, following an ongoing something that is being revealed. And what you do have that way is yet again another understanding of the architecture itself, the room. But then when we actually use the terrazas, then you realize that, well, no, art is not only fixed within one given gallery, but very much you can inscribe it on the institution. The museum in as much becomes an emitter, so an architecture to use. Nothing is fixed in space. It's really that we're not caging the body. We're not caging the films or the paintings. Everything just floats around, and that's what I really care for. That it's not fixed, it evolves. Well, it's always the same thing. It's just how you can work with an exhibition within an institution, and how, because you arrive and being invited by the institution is always a means for trying to respond, but also trying to say why. Do we need another inscription within that body? And that's what I care for. It's just to ask the question and think, well, there's still some elements which I believe must occur. And especially for me, that great desire was to really work that of the mind and the inscription within the mind.